I want to bring in now CBS News campaign reporter Nidia Cavazos. She's following the Harris campaign for us. They're in the D.C. bureau at the moment. So, Nidia, let's talk about these John Kelly remarks and continue with that, because in a town hall last night, Harris was asked if she agreed with the former general's remarks. Let's play what she had to say.
John Kelly, a four-star Marine general who was his longest-serving chief of staff, gave an interview recently in the last 2 weeks of this election, talking about how dangerous Donald Trump is. The former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff has said he is a fascist to the core.
Do you think Donald Trump is a fascist?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. And I also believe that the people who know him best on this subject should be trusted.
Nidia, Harris is focusing a lot on her opponent and his, in her mind, inability to lead the country effectively. Is this a good strategy for the final leg of her campaign, urging people to vote against Trump as opposed to voting for her?
Well, since the moment that Vice President Harris became the presidential candidate, in speaking with campaign officials, they did identify this as a strategy. The fact that they're going to try to really establish the clear contrast between both candidates. So while this has been a campaign strategy, it is also true that we've seen Harris amplifying her anti-Trump messaging lately. We've seen it on the campaign trail. We saw it just last night during the CNN town hall. But just a few minutes ago, Harris again amplified her messaging against Trump and saying that American voters have two choices here. And if it becomes Trump, that he becomes president and he is in the Oval Office, then in her words, she said Trump would be suing, plotting revenge and retribution. So this speaks to the strategy and really honing in on this anti-Trump messaging here.
And let's talk a little bit about what she is bringing to the table. That is some star power. Former President Obama, they're going to be together for the first time tonight. Also, Bruce Springsteen. I understand we also got word that Beyoncé is going to appear at a rally in Houston tomorrow, really bringing out a lot of supporters that are a lot of bold-faced names. Does the Harris campaign think that this is going to push extra people to the polls?
We were able to confirm that Beyoncé will be appearing tomorrow, Friday, at the Houston rally with Vice President Harris. And all of this is part of the campaign's efforts to send the message of unity, showing that all these celebrities and big names here are standing behind Vice President Harris, and they're all united in this purpose to not have a second Trump administration. So this is also part of the campaign's efforts to really mobilize her base and not just necessarily focusing on swing voters and bringing in Republican voters who may not necessarily be supporting Trump, but they also have to make sure that they're taking care of their base so that they, in fact, turn out to vote for Harris.
Well, let me also ask you about this, because Harris spoke with reporters earlier about whether her administration would continue construction of a border wall. Tell our viewers what she had to say.
Harris was asked if she would continue with the construction of a border wall during her administration, to which she again didn't necessarily give a yes or a no, but instead said that her highest priority if she becomes president and during her administration is to send the necessary resources to make sure that the U.S. border is secure. And this is a continuation of the remarks that we saw last night during CNN's town hall, where Harris again was asked if she supports the construction of the border wall, given that this is a big platform that Trump is proposing and has long been proposing on the trail dating back to 2016. We didn't necessarily get a direct answer from Harris either yesterday or today. And instead, she is also focusing on, again, slamming former President Donald Trump for failing to support a bipartisan border bill that would have sent the necessary resources, including thousands and thousands of agents to the U.S. border.
All right, Nidia Cavazos, thank you.